Hello, what is going on, guys? Welcome to the channel. Welcome to another live stream. I hope all my American followers had a wonderful Thanksgiving. I've been scrambling here last minute to get this show on the road here. I apologize, we're starting an hour later than originally planned. Because of that, we'll probably just do one leg. I know I said Las Vegas, Burbank, back to Vegas, but since we're already an hour late, we'll just do one leg over to Burbank. We'll take our time that way. But I had that's just been a crazy day. We went and got a Christmas tree, then I was hanging Christmas lights, and then by the time I got here ready for the stream, I realized that there was an update to the Toliss, so I had to update, and then I had to redo the engine mod because I want to show you guys the CFM56A engines that Carda's been working on. They'll be released soon, so that'll be cool. But we're about an hour behind schedule, but we'll pick it up here. It's a short flight over to Burbank, and the reason I'm doing this flight and I didn't want to cancel it or postpone it is because I'm actually headed to the simulator tomorrow to do what's called an R-loft, or a recurrent loft, which is basically a captain training event, a recurrent training event that you got to do every so often. And typically how it goes is it's a standard flight for the most part. Let me open up some doors here while we're waiting here. But sometimes they throw a little wrench in there. Something goes wrong, and you got to figure out what to do, how to fix it, either divert or continue on or whatnot. So that's kind of what a loft is, and I'm going to simulate that here in this flight. We're going to go through all my procedures. We're going to use our charts, and we're really going to take our time and try to go through this flight as we would a real-world flight. So I'm ready to go in the sim tomorrow. I've been flying, we flew the 747 in the Kitech, and we've been flying a bunch of different other airplanes lately, the 340, the Q400, so it's good to get back in the bus and just kind of refresh my memory here on X-Plane, and then hit it tomorrow in the sim for real. So this is the A319. This is the latest updated version of the 319. So I don't even know, what is it called here? Doesn't it tell you what this is 1.6.3 on the Toliss Airbus A319. So it's the latest of the latest, and we're going to take this over to Burbank. So what's going on, Fubar? Good to see you. Hoffman, Aaron, Hastings, Robert S., Anthony, Anderson, Christian. Thanks for helping me get the Fly Tampa Vegas scenery sorted out, man. Looking awesome. Scott, good to see you as well. Brian Rosner, Rusty C. And yes, the wing flex issue is fixed. Jonathan Oman, I saw your comment up there. But yeah, the wing flex is fixed. And how about this airport, though? I've been holding off on getting a Vegas scenery, but I finally picked up on sale this Las Vegas Fly Tampa, and it is pretty freaking juicy, if I don't say so myself. You got the Southwest Concourse over here. I think Alley Giant is over here somewhere. But look at the strip, looking fine. We are real time, real weather right now, so we're not making it look fancy. It might be fancy by the time we do our little sunset approach. I forgot to bind my internal cockpit views. Great, so give me 1 second here. It's one thing I forgot to do is set up my views here in the cockpit. I did get my engine views set up. Now we are going to be on our way here. I'm going to put this like this. Do that view, and then the last view here down here by the transponder. Perfect. All right. Captain Gio, what's going on, man? Good to see you here. Scott Morton, good to see you. Glad you catch a live stream. Glad to have you on board, man. Welcome. All right. Here we go. So we get to the cockpit. You guys know we've done our flows many times. We're going to start them again here essentially it starts down here. So the gear lever is down. The start switches are off. Why is my spoid brake lever out? There we go. That should be off. Weather radar is off. Come back up here to the overhead. We've got our 25.6 volts or greater, so we'll go battery 1. Battery 2, running the CFM56 as well, sound mod. Ah, man, can I turn off? Is it the GPU? No. Get rid of some of those trucks out there. It's awfully loud. Got our batteries on. We're not going to do an APU fire test just yet. We're going to go ahead and turn the external power on. Boom, got that set up. Aircraft comes to life while it does that. Here, let's turn our PFDs up. Yeah, you like that pointy spinner, Christian, on the CFM 56A. There's only very few airlines fly the 56A variant. Carda's done a fantastic job modeling this one here. We'll take a look at it in cruise as well. It's a pretty short flight. I don't even think that's the proper air rack cycle. Uh-oh. Let's see what happens here. While our screens boot up here, we'll do our RMPs. We'll go ahead and get Phantom side dialed in over here. Feels good to be back in the bus, though. Feels good. Let's go get you back to freedom units. Good set. Beautiful. All right. We got external power on the line. Where are we at here? So we've done that. Check our cargo ventilation. That looks good. We'll go pack flow norm. Back over here. Throttles in idle. I don't know why they're in Toga. It's making me nervous already. Full of Easter eggs. Engines. We got our oil quantity. Let's check our pressurization, make sure we are in auto. We are in auto, that's good. And our hydraulics, make sure we have hydraulics serviced. And then the door page, make sure the cockpit oxygen is in the green. That is all checked. Park brake is on. He's going to go outside, do the pre-flight. I sit down, I do my flow. I'm going to come in here. We'll start at the overhead up the captain's side. Crew supply oxygen can come online. Ground control on. CVR test. Don't think the CVR's test sound is included with the BSS pack, so no test sound there. It should be on. And let's go up here and do our ADIRS alignment 1, 2, and 3. We'll wait for a single on bat light. And there it is. So those are in the align mode. Back down to this panel here with nav position 1, seatbelts off, no smoking, auto, arm the emergency exit lights. Landing elevation is in the auto position. Again, we're checking that multiple times that we've checked this now. Obviously an important switch down here. Our pack flow situation looks good. Everything else looks good here. Let's do our fire test, engine 1. Fire test, engine 2. And we'll also do the APU. Checking for the discharge lights and the squibs, and of course you're checking for your items here on your ECAM. Also checking for the fire lights here down here in the on the center pedestal, as well as the master warning and CRC, which is a continuous repetitive chime. That's the sound that you hear. Over to the first officer overhead panel. Make sure we're basically in a lights out configuration. That looks good. We'll turn on the third RMP. Open and turn on the PA volume knob here. I know we can't turn it on in the Toliss, but essentially that knob will be on. That is so we can record all of the PA announcements to the black box should there be an incident. Nothing else to check on the overhead. That looks good. Down the captain's side here, radios are set for now. We're on it's the VATSIM, so we'll do 22.8 right now. That looks good. Weather radar is off. Center pedestal, I've already checked that. I'm also going to check pressurization one more time. It is in auto check. Idle off, and parking brake is off with 2,000 on the squawk. That is good. All right. Any questions so far? Let me turn down some of this audio just a little bit. All right, what's up, Liam? Good to see you here. Fubar says last week I got to fly in a 319 for real. The real plane almost sounds as good as the BSS pack. I know, man. I know. That's awesome. I love little 319s. InScore says instead of scrolling the knobs for the displays, you can click and drag much faster. Really? Oh. Interesting. Huh. Oh well, I got it scrolling right now, it's fine. All right, so that looks good. Carda, he took you out? Here, let me bring you back to life. Guys, take a look at that engine. Huh? This is the CFM 56A variant that is coming soon, TM from Carda Jowols. Come down here, take a look at the spinner. This is one of the major differences you're going to notice between the 56 Bravo and the 56A. The spinner is a little bit different. So if you're in my Discord, the logo is a CFM 56A spinner. It's a little bit more snubbed off there. This one's nice and pointy. Look at the detail on the cowling here. Carda. Never fails, never fails. I'm an IAE fan, you guys know that, but if I have to fly a CFM engine, I'm going to fly Carda's. Look at the pylon detail work here, and then, of course, very pronounced, I guess these are vent panels here on the top. There's one on either side. Yeah, and then if you come all the way down underneath the engine, he's got a metal or metallic strip here. Some variants don't have this, some do. He has the option to toggle it. You've got the overheat bleeds. all that good stuff. And then of course when we land, you guys are going to see the reversers. I know there's some CFM fans in here that like the flower petals when they open up, but we'll take a look at that close when we get on the ground in Burbank. We'll be going deep into the reverse onto Burbank. It is a maximum reverse landing airport as well. Just look at the detail work here on the paneling. So awesome. So awesome. All right, hopefully that brought you back to life, Carda. All right. Where are we at? So we've got the aircraft. Oh, you know what? I don't think I ever, did I load it in here? Let's see. Did not download our flight plan. So let me go back here. Let me pull this flight plan out in assembly if we're going to need that. I'm going to go download, and I'm going to put that into charts. There we go. We'll save that. Okay, I just made a mess of my other monitor here. Give me 1 second. Alright, so that's good. So now if I go plug in admin and reset Avi tab, it should theoretically be in there. Oops, charts, and there it is, Las Vegas, Burbank, beautiful. Alright, let's take a look at our flight plan this afternoon. We'll scroll over to our fuel loading. Carda, you're back up to life, excellent. Alright guys, super short flight, headed over to Las Vegas, I'm sorry, headed to Burbank from Las Vegas. We have a cost index of 5. This is flight level 300. I thought I changed it to 240 in VATSIM, so we're going to put 240 as our top. Look at our fuel loading here. Planned gate fuel is 7.8. That's pretty darn low. I think minimum dispatch fuel is 10,000 pounds, I believe, for where I work, so I think I'm going to change that. We'll just do a minimum of 10,000 in the ISCS here. So we'll go loading. We're going to put 10,000 pounds on board. I believe that's minimum dispatch fuel. As far as passengers, I'm not going to go off the sim brief. I'm going to load. Let's fill this puppy up. Let's take about 134 peeps. We don't need all this cargo. Let's reset this. We'll take about 3,000 pounds of cargo, 135 passengers. We'll apply that load setting. We have 10,200 on board. That checks. All right. We build our flight plan in plan mode. So we're going to go plan mode, constraint, get our range down to about 20 nautical miles. We're in a CFM 56B, so right now I would be in the wrong aircraft and we'd have to notify dispatch that, hey, we got the wrong engines on board this airplane. We should have 56As out there right now. Make sure our air rack is active, or in the real airplane, make sure we have the correct nav database. Looks like we have two stored waypoints there. That's cool. Into the initialization, let's move this over to the main flight plan page. Let's fire this up here. So we're going to go Las Vegas to Burbank. And we're going to be departing off 26 right. Today we're operating as Delta 357. And we'll hit the align button there. We're going to do cost index of 5. Cruise altitude for us, I know it says 30 on the paperwork. We're going to use 240. And it's almost standard. It's +2, I think, the last I checked. So we're going to go -30 on the OAT. And the tropopause is 377, so let's just call it 370. Oh, it wants the whole thing. 37,000 feet is set. Flight plan, departure, 26 right, full length. We're going to be on the radar, or Radier 2, out to Silver. Insert. From there, we're going direct to Krem. Now, I believe we have a standard arrival that we use into Burbank. So let me pull out my real-world charts here. You're not going to be able to see them. I'll let you guys look at these engines out here while I pull this up on my iPad, because again, this is for my training as much as it is for your entertainment here. So let me pull out my actual charts, and I think we have a sample flight plan, because this flight is so short. In real life, I mean, you're busy from takeoff to touchdown. You have a very small window where you just sit back and relax. It's you're either working with the departure and then already planning the arrival phase. Tyler Smith, thank you so much for the 4-month membership there. He says, big up, Mr. V1. Hope you had a great Turkey Day. Hey, I was flying. I was out flying the line this Thanksgiving. But Thanksgiving, we celebrated a few days before I went to work with the fam, and it was great. So thank you very much, Tyler. I appreciate it. I hope you had a good Thanksgiving as well. But yes, I was flying in the middle of the night across the country on a transcon. I was looking forward to get some Caribou coffee in Minneapolis before we flew all the way to LA, but it was all closed. They closed up early. The only thing open was McDonald's. So for my Thanksgiving dinner, I had a McDonald's chicken sandwich and a black coffee from the airport. So the things we do for this job. All right, let me do a quick airport briefing here. Where am I at? Is it not in here? Oh, there it is. It's got its own folder. Here we go.
Las Vegas traffic, Southwest 2101, taking off runway 26 right, departing to the North Vegas.
Okay, Southwest taking off out of Vegas. All right, here's our jet charts, a lot of terrain. Janny 5, yes, so we do have a standard arrival that we almost always get here. It's the Janny 5. So I'm going to go Burbank arrival. We'll load up the ILS Zulu, runway 8, off to Janny 5. And I don't believe there's any transition point. So we'll insert that. Let me pull up this. We'll step through our flight plan here. Silver, Creme, and then Janny. So what I'm going to do is let's connect this. Insert that. And that is our plan that I'm going to be doing tomorrow for a reel. What is tropo? That is the tropopause. The tropopause, why we care about it, it's because the temperature climbs or increases with altitude above the tropopause. All right, no more engine shots. Let's come back here and finish the flight plan. So we've got our main flight plan in there. Let's do our secondary. We are running failures today. We got flight time of 100 with random faults on, and check this out. I love doing this for the older 319, make it a dog. We're running an older aircraft with an older engine age here as well. So this is kind of what I got rocking for this flight. Hopefully it doesn't come back to bite us and we got to do an air return, but it would be good practice. All right, Las Vegas, Las Vegas. Now, there's something that is, I'm not going to do here on this stream. Well, I really should, actually. I should build a special engine out, because departing Vegas, if you lose an engine, there is a special procedure. You don't just fly straight out because of all the terrain. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to set up the arrival. We're going to come back around. We'll land back on 26 right. We'll come back. We'll go back to the perf page. We'll load up just the approach information. We'll put 200 in the DH. What do we have outside? It's 23 degrees Celsius. Pretty mild for, actually, I guess it is December. 23. I don't want any performance with the wind, 040. And the current meter, according to Debrief, is telling me it is 3020. 3020 in the secondary. Now, what we do in the real life, and again, in the real life, listen to me. Why did this not save? Two six right. Insert. There we go. Okay. I guess I didn't insert it. So we got the 26 right in the box. Now what we also have to do is put a special single engine procedure in there as well. So let me pull up Las Vegas here. Again, you won't be able to see these. These are my real company charts. I'm going to be using them tomorrow. So off the radar, we have a complex special procedure for runway 26 right. And we're going to build it in the box here. So you'll be able to see what I'm building. 26 right, radial special. So the engine out SID. I'm going to pop this up here so we can look at this. Is basically 2.9 from Las Vegas. So we'll call it 3 miles. So we're going to make a PBD. So our point is Las Vegas, but I want to put a T in here. I gotta give myself an extra disco. Okay, I'm going to leave that disco there. I guess that's fine. So we're going to do this. We're going to do Las Vegas point. Our bearing is going to be 260 for a reference. And 3 off Las Vegas. All right, so there's our PBD01. Now I need to drop a T in there. Now this is not exactly how it would be in the real airplane, but I'm giving you a rough estimate. So if I zoom the range in, I'm not paying too much attention to you guys in chat. I'm drawing a PBD. So there's our PBD01. Once we hit that point, it's a right turn outbound to a Las Vegas, basically 13 DME. So now I'm going to use the RadNav page. I'm going to come here. We're going to go fix info. We're going to put LAS VOR. We're going to put a ring around LAS at 13 miles. So now if I pull out of this, and I can close this, we don't need it. Let me show you. Essentially what we have programmed in the box now is if we bang an engine off of 26 right, we have a special procedure. We're going to fly out to PBD03, and then it's a right turn, and we're going to track outbound on a heading of 035 until reaching our distance ring, 13 miles, and then it's another right turn directly back to Las Vegas. So that's a rougher roundabout way that we would do it tomorrow. Now, our boxes in real life, they are pretty much pre-loaded, so I don't have to manually put those in. Sometimes you do, and I think in the sim that we train on, we actually do have to come in here and build it, just like I showed you guys here, PBD03. But that's kind of what we got going for our secondary. Now, on a day like today, and I'll include this on my actual briefing, I'm going to do a full-blown briefing for you guys. On a day like this where it's visual, it's daytime, I'm not super concerned about making the turn right at 13 DME or going out at 2.5 nautical miles in right turn. I'm more concerned with flying the airplane and avoiding the terrain. So yes, we're going to go straight out, get the aircraft under control, and start the right turn. So that's kind of what my brief is going to be. Now, if you're IMC at night, then it's a different ballgame. You really got to be in the box. But again, aviate first. And if you have an engine failure, you have something going on, and it's a visual day like it is today, just fly the airplane and get her back around. So we've got our secondary set, our RadNav. We do have to hard tune ILAS. And I'm also going to hard tune a Las Vegas VOR, so I have backup DME. So I put that ring around it on the fix info page, but now I've also hard tuned 16.9, so I'll also have DME here. So I've got multiple sources telling me of my distance from Las Vegas VOR. And then actually I had to put this up because the localizer is a secondary way of identifying our single engine out. So I am going to be taking off with LS push buttons on as well. So we are locking and loaded. I know there's a lot of information for you guys to digest, but this is the streams you guys like. You want to see it. You want to see what I go through when I actually get in the real airplane and my thought process. I'm basically speaking my thought process to you guys on stream. So I hope you guys like a little bit change of pace here. All right, let's go back to our box. So our RadNav is set. In our diff strip, our I page, we've already done the initialization. The init B, we do have to finish up here. So we have 122.5 and 30.8, 122.5 and 30.8. That is set. Now what I like to do here is verify my fuel. It is on board, 10.1, and it is balanced. So once I have all that information, I'm going to come down here. I'm going to put 10.1 in my block fuel. I'm going to verify I have the extra gas that I'm planned to have. And then I'm going to come up to the overhead and get my fuel pumps on. This is a 4-step process, and then the seatbelt sign is on. And now you can hear some of the boarding sounds from the PSS pack, but that's kind of my, hey, fuel is on board. I check here, check it's balanced, put it in the box, fuel pump's on, seatbelt sign is now on, because the seatbelt sign has to be off while you're fueling for FAA regulations. All right, had a sip of water here. Believe it or not, I'm actually really tired, so this is good. It's waking me up. 3020 was the meter. I haven't synced in my settings, so they're all going to change at the same time. Looks like we have no ATC, just Denver Center, so we don't need to worry about that. So let's look at our actual charts now. Let's come back here. Las Vegas. Like for the McDo deep dive. Chris Run, glad you enjoyed it, man. Glad you enjoy it. And actually, does that have... Look at that. Wait. Airport. Obstacle departure procedure. Ah, so this is basically an obstacle departure text. Does it have a depiction?
Las Vegas, Southwest 782, pushing start,
No depiction. It's all text. Okay. We'll get into that later. That's more for advanced stuff. All right. Departure, a radiator to RNAV, and the 10.9 page. So here we go. Here's our actual departure procedure. We're going to do a climb via off 26. We got multiple restrictions here. Our top altitude is flight level 190. Throw that up there. Off 26 right. Climb on heading 259. Intercept course 249. Rudy at or above 4,000, etc. and beyond. We have all the restrictions. 2181 is airport elevation. That looks good. Isn't going to be too much of an issue getting out of here. It is mountainous terrain. We'll put our terrain push buttons on. And the last thing I'm going to do is I'm going to get the speed set. This is kind of out of order to the real aircraft. This is kind of the last thing that comes in right as we push off the gate because it's all 8 cars for us. But we're just going to load this up here so I can get the FCU looking proper. And then we'll do our takeoff briefing. We're going to do a flaps 1. We'll do a Toga takeoff. What the heck? We'll do a Toga takeoff as well. With packs off. We'll just simulate it. It'll be good refresh. I'll probably be doing a flex takeoff tomorrow, but that's fine. So we got 32, 32, 37 packs off. 132, 132, 137. Flaps 1, no flex, packs off. Trim is going to be, we'll set it after start, 0.4 down, so we'll keep that in mind. All right, now that our V-speeds are set, my FCU looks proper. You want dashes out here. You don't want that 100 there in the speed column. That's kind of a software thing. I believe in our airplanes, even without the speeds, you can have a dash here. I'd have to double check that, but let's get rid of these guys. And Aviator Trav, what's up, man? Welcome to the stream, sir. Why must the seatbelt sign be off during fueling? Because if there's a fire, they don't want someone looking at the seatbelt sign saying, hey, can't get off the airplane, the seatbelt sign is on. Not that that would happen, but I'm assuming that's why the FAA has that set the way it is. But all right, we're closing up some of the doors here. Let's close up all these manually. We'll close everything but the L1 door. All right, you guys ready for a brief? All right, it's going to be a left seat departure out of here. We're on Airbus A319 for tail strike avoidance. There's no MELs or CDLs that affect the performance of the aircraft. We're going to be departing Las Vegas today off runway 26 right. It's a pretty short taxi. We'll start on both up. We'll do a 2-engine taxi out to 26 right, estimating probably Charlie. You'd probably give us Charlie or Bravo is the outer. No hotspots, no runways to cross. Out to 26 right this afternoon. Once we get to 26 right, as far as emergency procedures, before V1, it's going to be my decision to reject. I'll bring the aircraft to complete stop, put the parking brake on. I'll call flight attendant stations, analyze the situation. I'll call for any ECAM actions or the emergency evacuation checklist as required. And you will, FO will go through his takeoff briefing. Basically, he says, I'll call your thrust reversers, auto brakes or manual brakes, turn on the dome light and notify ATC if we need emergency vehicle assistance, and run the ECAM or the evac checklist as you request. That's kind of what the FO's briefing sounds like. So let's see. Okay, if all goes as well, we're going to be departing. If it happens after V1, engine fire failure after V1, we have a special engine out procedure that we're going to comply with. We already put it in the secondary. Basically, we're going to fly 2.9 out from Las Vegas VOR, or if that's not identifiable, by the localizer at 2.3, which I have both set up on my side here. At 2.9 from the Las Vegas VOR, however, we'll make a right turn heading 035. We'll speed up, clean up. Our acceleration altitude for single engine today is 3180. So we'll speed up, clean up. We'll continue to fly the engine out obstacle departure procedure on a heading of 035 until we reach 13 miles from the Las Vegas VOR. I have a fixed info ring in there at 13 nautical miles, so if we hit that blue ring, we do need to make a right turn of heading 100 and eventually out to Las Vegas, back to the Las Vegas VOR and hold. Hopefully by that time, we're going to be coming back around and setting up for landing. Now, we are going to be slightly overweight, I think. Actually, you know what? We're not going to be overweight. I don't have...
Las Vegas traffic, Southwest 782, taxi by Bravo, and 77 right.
Does this have an estimated takeoff weight? Takeoff weight, yeah, it looks like we'll be underweight for takeoff. So won't be overweight if we do have to come right back around. We got a long drive runway. 26 right is in the secondary should we need it. Let's see. Other than that, if all goes as well, we're going to continue via the Radiator 1 RNAV departure. All the speed and altitudes are in there. We're going up to flight level 190. We got a good squawk of 200 in the box. Do you have any questions? No questions? All right, so before start, a checklist. So that is how the takeoff briefing is going to run. Pilot 20, thank you so much for the $1 bombs. I was really enjoying it. Thanks for sharing and showing everything to us. By the way, I'm a real Aquila AT-01 pilot. Well, that's awesome. I apologize. What is an AT-01? I got to look it up. What's an AT-01? I feel like I should know that. Is that an airplane? Really? Oh, it's a... Oh, it's an Aquila. Oh, it's like the light aircraft in Germany. Cool. Well, awesome, man. Glad you're enjoying the content here. Welcome to the stream. Thank you for your support. I really appreciate that. All right. Before start checklist, I actually need to pull out a checklist. Latest on tail numbers on board. Check cockpit prep. Complete captain's got brief signs on auto. ADIRS nav. Fuel required for takeoff. We need 7.7. We got 10.1 on board. Altimeters 30-20 sets. EFB checked. All right, so that is all good. I'm starting the APU. It sounds like we are wrapping up the boarding process. There she goes. DLV1 says unable to any flex takeoff, so you got it. What kind of things will they throw at me tomorrow? It depends, Alfie. There's a bunch of different scenarios that can happen. More often than not, on this type of recurrent training, it's nothing too serious. It's something that, like a cargo door or some type of small problem that you're probably either going to continue on or you may make a precautionary divert. But the sim that I'm going to tomorrow is not the hardcore recurrent where you're doing your V1 cuts and your single engine and engine fires and all that. Tomorrow is basically exactly what it's called, a line-oriented flight training. So it's a line flight that you fly just like you would A to B, and you may have something go wrong, you may not. It may be something super simple as like exceeding tailwind on landing and you got to come around the other way, something like that. So there's multiple different scenarios that can happen. Hopefully it's nothing too crazy. Shaquille Oatmeal, what's going on, man? He says, wait, my pen can't write that fast. I did get this out of the info given. Can I come see the flight deck? You got it, Shaquille. You can come on up anytime, man. Appreciate it. Tyler says, how many hours do non-cargo pilots typically work in a day, as normally have 4 more legs in a single day? It depends, Tyler. At the regionals, 4, 5, 6 days, 4, 5, 6 legs a day is not uncommon. And once you start flying larger aircraft, not too much. All right, let's go ahead and close up that door. And do I need to pull chocks? Chocks are removed, and we no longer need ground power. Let's get the APU bleed on, disconnect him, and let's get a pushback going.
Ground to cockpit. Please show me where you want to go.
I guess we'll just go straight back on this one, huh? I'm not quite sure. We'll just go straight back. Actually, we'll do it like this.
Ground to cockpit. Tow is driving up.
All right, let's do below the line. Windows, doors, and slides. They are closed and armed. Beacon, on. Thrust levers, idle. Parking brake, it is on for now. Before start, checklist is completed. I'm going to turn down this terrain. It's a little bright. All right. Now we can finally have a breather. Sit back and relax. Kawadi Monday salutes, Robert S. Oh, yeah. Tug toe and a salute. You got it. You're a student pilot, 14 hours, doing circuits now, preparing for solo. Pilot 20, that's awesome, man. Best of luck to you on your solo. But Tyler, to get back to your question, I get upset when I have to
Okay,
fly
all
more than
doors
2
and
legs.
hatches are closed. Ready to connect.
But when I was in the regionals, I was flying 4, 5, 6 legs a day. That was pretty common. 6 is a little less common depending on what type of aircraft you fly. Now, back when they had Q400s and stuff, that was pretty common because you're doing super short legs in and out. As the planes get bigger, the legs get a little bit longer, makes it a little bit harder on your duty time. So 4 is pretty standard at the regional level. But nowadays I start complaining when I see 3 legs on one day. Disconnect ground power first and then APU, or APU bleed and ground power. DJ Roscoe, it doesn't, as far as the bleed is concerned, there really is no...
Tow connected and bypass pin inserted. Release parking brake.
Roger, stand by. There is no, I guess, issue with turning the bleed on or whatever. You just want to make sure you disconnect ground power after you have the APU running and before they pull it. So you don't want to leave this light on and then just turn it off here. That's basically saying somebody is pulling the external power out from the aircraft while it's providing power to the airplane. Now, there are safety things that are in place that prevent arcing and things like that, but it is a danger to the ground crew, and you get a really hard bus transfer in the cockpit. So you always want to just disconnect the external power so it says avail before pulling it here. As far as the bleed is concerned, it really is that when you need the bleed, use the bleed. It's recommended that you don't turn the bleed on within 3 minutes of starting the APU, however, just so you don't get any fumes. If there's any residual oil or fuel burnt off in the APU, let it blow out the back for 3 minutes before turning the bleed on. That's just a recommendation. It's not a requirement. If you need bleed, you can turn it on right away, but they suggest waiting at least 3 minutes after APU start. But bleed and power, there is no correlation really. All right, we did our before start checklist. We got our push clearance. Brakes release, you're clear to push, sir.
Starting pushback, and you may start engines.
Would I say the flight model for the Toliss is good? Absolutely. I like the flight model for the Toliss. I really do. Jimmy, you got your first CFI or post-CFI job a month ago flying SIC on a citation. Awesome. Hey, sounds just like me, Jimmy. I remember you saying you used to fly the same back in the day. There you go. Compared to the airlines now, what do you not miss the most? That's a good podcast question, man. I could talk your ear off on that one. But one thing that I will say, when you're going through your training, and Captain Tom, I don't know if you're still here. I know you're doing your training and waiting for your check ride, and any CFI in the chat. We have this tendency as humans, to want to get to the next step. We just want that progression, right? So a lot of times when we're going through training or we're building time flight instructing, or maybe you're on your first SIC job in a citation, you're always looking forward to that next step and I just got to do this. I got to grind. I got to build time, do this, and this. You kind of miss either the simplicity of it or the friendships that you build during it. And I'm not going to lie, being an instructor, especially somewhere where it's not very pleasant, like in Phoenix where it's hot all the time, 110 degrees, there is a camaraderie, an extra camaraderie in misery. So when everybody's miserable and it's hot and no one wants to be there and you're like, man, I just want to get enough time so I can go to the airlines. Once you get to the airlines, you're going to look back and be like, man, those were some of the best times I had, with my friends that were instructors and just being able to teach. And we have this tendency to look too far ahead, especially in aviation. And that would be my suggestion to you is just enjoy every step of the way. Don't look at it as, I got to do this to get this. I got to grind. Enjoy each step and every hour that you fly. Now, there's going to be days where you're not going to enjoy it, but that's just the nature of the beast. But try to make a conscious effort to just enjoy each and every day that you do go to work or go to training.
Operation complete. Set parking brake.
Brake set. Check refresher. Clear to disconnect.
Disconnecting tow. Stand by.
So when the brakes are set, I got to verify that the accumulator pressure is in the green band. It's actually just a hair off, so I'm going to go a little electric pump on for a second. Get some hydraulic pressure in there, and Make sure it is in the green. That is good. Associated, clear hydraulic. And let's go ahead and start engines. Starting engine 1. Danny, because the engine's not started yet. The gross weight will display once engine is started. Aaron, that's awesome, man. That's super exciting.
Hose disconnected and bypass pin has been removed. Hand signal on the right. We'll see you next time and have a safe flight.
Man, I'm a naive fan, but these engines are so sweet. Sounds like we got a good start on 1. There's our tug, toe, pin, Kawadi Monday salute in chat. I need Kawadi Monday salutes in chat. Give him the salute. Shaka, he's out of here. Starting engine 2. Robert S. 12-month membership celebration. Carda Engines for Life. Yes, sir. Smash the like button. He says, I do appreciate it if you guys enjoyed this content. I know this is kind of a fire hose stream. I typically am not talking this fast, but I'm trying to get a lot of information out just so you guys know exactly what I'm going through tomorrow. So if you do like this kind of content, though, do hit the like button. I appreciate it. It helps me out. Number one, it helps the channel out, but it also lets me know if you like this kind of stuff. I mean, there's streams where we just sit back and chat and talk and, you know, kind of, it's a much more lighthearted. This is more, I'm basically verbalizing everything that I'm going to do in the real airplane with you on stream. So I'm going to miss some chat messages. I'm probably going to be talking a lot, maybe talking a little bit faster, but if you like that kind of content, do hit the like button, because then I can gauge to see, you know, maybe I need to do more of it or maybe less of it. So, all right. Why no barking? Because there's no need to bark on that one there. Set. Boom. Let's go ahead and go flap. So 1. Pilot 20, it's just to differentiate between the two different approaches, and there's also like certain approaches that are RNAV overlays, like they may have been like a VOR approach that's now an RNAV approach and overlay. It'll also have a different letter associated to it, but that's a rabbit hole question. All right, there is 1, 2, and that is armed. He's going to come up here, he's going to shut that off. Now, after engine start, my flow, first thing I do is I'm making sure that the pin is gone, everything is away from there, and this should be in transponder mode. Make sure that I do have my nose wheel steering back available. And then I'm checking here, my gross weight 132.6. I have my sheet of paper here on the tray table, I'll pull it out, verify my gross weight is below the max for our takeoff data. Make sure our trim is set, which the FO would set, I believe it was 0.4 down, so we've got 0.4 down is set there. So those are the 3 checks I do, and to be honest with you, it actually starts up here. First thing I check is engine anti-ice, make sure we don't have any engine anti-ice. Then I come down here, verify my gross weight, and make sure, and what I'll do here as well, during pushback, I'm gonna be on the intercom down here. I'm gonna be on this, or mechanic, I guess it would be. Is it mechanic? Yeah, it'd be mechanic. And then after start, I come back over here to COM 1, turn up COM 1. I typically don't even have VHF 1 on during pushback, just because I'm talking to the tug, and the FO was talking on the radio. So make sure that's all set up. That's good. We all good to go? Yes, sir. All right, let's do that. Let's do that. We're going to taxi 26 right via We'll take Charlie. We're gonna spin her around here. Do a cinematic taxi out. Oh, I forgot my tiller is my nose wheel. Where's my... Uh-oh. Where's my tiller? Not responding. What the heck's going on here? The tiller's doing some weird thing here. Hold up. Stand by 1 second here. Let me go. Oh, I need to calibrate. Hold on. This should fix that. Captain Gio, what's going on, man? Thanks for the $5 bomb. He says, what's up, V1? Hope all is well with the fan, bro. Don't forget the thing we talked about. Gio, thanks, dude. I'm gonna get to it. I've been crazy busy, but thanks for Gio. I appreciate that, man. Yes, I'll get back to you on that. Thank you for the $5 bomb, man. I appreciate your support. All right, we got a tiller now. We're cooking with gas now. Here we go. Carda engine, taxi out. My ears are bleeding. My ears are bleeding. Let's head out to 26. And I don't see any traffic, so we're good. We'll just go ahead and taxi out to 26. All right, once I'm clear of the ramp area. Ooh, there is someone taking off down there. Once I'm clear of the ramp area, I'll call for a mini brief. FO is going to brief several things on the McDo and on the ECAM. Once the mini brief is complete, and I say I have no questions, hopefully, then we will do our flight control check. So let me get us on the center line. And here we go. Full up. Full down. Neutral. Full left. Full right. Neutral. Rudder. Semi-full. Semi-full. That is normal for me. Readjust the Pampers box down there for the rudder pedals. There we go. I'll let it stop moving. And then he's going to do his flight control check, and then he's going to do his after... or he's going to do his taxi flow. Basically, he's going to do all of this stuff here. And getting the flight attendants. All right. So now that we have all green, I call for the before takeoff checklist. We're going to run through that, which I don't have memorized, but essentially we run through the whole thing. And we're good to go. Russell Skeet. Or Saki, thank you for the $1 super chat, man. Appreciate it. Appreciate the support. These look better than real life. I agree. These CFM engines do look better than real life CFM engines. Flyby on the drive-by. Ooh, somebody just departed there. That's awesome. I keep hitting my microphone with this stupid yoke. Yokes are jokes. Let's get back on center line here. Oh. Come on. fix my chair. Russell, thank you for the $5 donation, man. He says, I recently flew 24 hours. Oh, wow. On Frontier. O'Hare, Orlando, Dallas, Vegas, Phoenix, O'Hare. Would you do it just for fun? No. I would not do that just for fun. That is, that's next level dedication, man. Thank you for your $5 donation. I appreciate that. But that is you definitely got you definitely covered everything there, going all across the country, man. Good stuff. We're gonna turn down this external volume like 45%. There we go, so we're not bleeding. DJ Roscoe, I'm still waiting. Still waiting for it to come out and get to me. Trust me, you will be the first to know. As soon as I get that, I wish I had a tail. I don't. Vegas looking awesome. Alright, so let me find the center line in the airplane here, because in real life it's like right about here. But I think my field of view jacks with it a little bit, so let me find it. Now, I think that should be about center line in real life. We're just a hair right, so it's actually a little bit more to the left. It's right about there, I think. Yeah, so it's a little bit closer with my aspect ratio. I don't have my... Well, I gotta bind my push to talk as well. Doesn't seem to be working. Oh. McCarran traffic. Delta 357, we're going to be departing runway 26 right on the Radiator 1, McCarran. Alright, nobody on TCAS. Clear left. Line up. Actually, we'll go ahead and just clear for takeoff. Turn it all on. Let's say packs off takeoff. Packs are coming off. Turn. Don't know why I did that. We need a tiller. Somebody needs to make a tiller. Every airliner uses a tiller. We don't have a single tiller peripheral. Alright. Let me get my PFD set up here. Alright, you guys ready? It will always be McCarran. It's going to be a beautiful departure here. Let's spool them up 50%. Maximum Yoga's in chat. Here we go. Runway heading checks. All right, Carda. I hope your engines don't fail me this time. Stable. Yoga. Ooh, yeah. All right, man, Toga, SRS, runway, auto thrust, blue. Thrust set. 100 knots, check.
Subscriber bad, look up.
V1, rotate. Positive rate, gear up. Nav. Fly-by. Ooh, yeah. Gosh, that looks good, doesn't it? Juicy departure wing view here. Loving the fly Tampa. Let's go ahead and fluid that nose a little bit. We'll do a reduction here from the engine view. Love that. Thrust climb. Auto thrust. Pack 1 on. Hold on, we'll do this. We're just going to do this because I want to see this. Autopilot 1. Look at that. That freaking sauce. Awesome. How are we looking on our restrictions? 230 above 4. We've already met that. We're in the turn. Flyby. That's normal. Let's go flap 0. After takeoff checklist. Beautiful. Man, I wish we were coming back. It'd be nighttime. I haven't done a night approach into this scenery yet. We'll see what time. We'll see what time we get into Burbank. See if we have enough time to do a second leg. That is awesome. We're definitely past acceleration altitude. We'll get pack 2 online. I don't get to do this in the sim tomorrow, so I got to take it in now. Christian, hey, it's on sale, man. I got it on sale. Can't fault me for that. Look at these A's work. I love these A's though. Oh, why did I bind? I bound the wrong. We gotta bind this one. Carda's favorite view. Look at that A model juice. We're leveled off here. Just that hum sound. In real life, when you turn on the autopilot, depends on the airplane, whether you're in a 19, 20, or 21, and you can turn it on whenever you want, as long as you're above minimum autopilot height for the airplane you're in. On this departure like this, I like to hand fly it, really. But in the sim, on Recurrent, autopilot comes on pretty darn quick because you got a lot to do. So, we also need to disarm the spoid brakes. This runway LS mismatch, that's true to the real airplane. That's because our rad nav page. And we got to turn down some sounds here so I can think. We'll go volume. Let's turn this weather down to like 20%. And turn internal down to like 45 so I can hear myself. Oh my gosh, so much better. All right, there's 10,000 feet. I'm going to come up here. I'm going to go ahead and turn off the wing light, turn off the landing lights, turn off lights, turn that off. Ding the flight attendants. I'll pull up my PA knob here so I can listen to them to say yes. Like, okay, good to get up. There's 10,000. And then the clear and copy. So here's 10,000. We're going to clear out the LS and we're going to clear out the hard tune. That'll get rid of that runway LS mismatch information that's been going on now that they're both cleared out. So, and then secondary, we'll go ahead and copy the active. And we're cruising. 11.8, climbing 19. Delta 357, climb 240. 240 to 357. So we are out of here. Flyby. There were many sales before. You were just scared of performance. I guess I never thought about it, really. I wasn't really scared of performance. It's doing pretty good. I mean, we're away from it now. Shoot, we're doing almost 80 FPS out here. Goodness. That is an awesome shot, though. Captain Thomas says, now that we've taken off, what's the story about your FO and the AirPods? Oh, man. We don't have enough time to get into it, man. We don't have enough time. Essentially, I'll have to talk about it on the podcast. But yes, it was, yeah, I can't even get into it right now. I know I told you to remind me. I'm surprised you actually reminded me. But we have to start prepping for our arrival, believe it or not. So let's go ahead and clear this out. Let's load up Burbank. Next, pull out our other charts here. Airport, 10-9 page. We're going to pull out our arrival on the Janny 5. That's all we need. So we've got the ILS 8 set up, Burbank Janney 5. There's Krem. Continuing with the arrival. We don't need our LS push buttons right now, and we also can clear out the fix info page. That is cleared out. Return, flight plan. All right, 17.5, close enough for STDs for you and me. We'll go ahead and set standard once, standard twice. He sets it 3 times, and it's a smooth ride right now. We'll go ahead and turn that seatbelt sign off for you. Is transpond on auto? Probably not. Yeah, it is. Oh, it's not on. It's in auto. It needs to be on. Phantom 320, forgot about it. Alexander, what's up, man? Just got here. How are you? Are you using Toliss 319 1.63? The latest of the latest. I believe I have 1.63, right? Yeah, so this is the latest update that just came out, I think, what, yesterday or today? So, the newest of the new. Robert S., stay healthy, V1. I'll watch the replay later. See ya, Robert S., take care, bud. Have a good one. Thanks for stopping by, dude. I'm sorry, Tom. I'm sorry. So that is, and I mean, there's Krem right there. Where is our top out? Yeah, 240. Cool. All right, so we literally have enough time to read the airport briefing, which I will read to you guys from the wing view here, where it's nice and quiet. We'll pull it up here. Expect this, blah, blah, blah. Okay, here's the Janney. The Wabbit intersection is very dangerous. The airport often experiences low visibility due to fog, haze, and pollution from the metroplex or metropolitan area. When visibility is low, ILS Zulu runway 8 for landing. Note the higher minimums. A touchdown zone, according to note 4, the loc is unusable within 0.9 nautical miles from the threshold. This is due to possible interference. ILS Yankee runway 8 is available for aircraft that cannot comply with the missed approach climb gradient of Zulu. So basically, who was ever asking about the Yankee Zulu approach earlier on the stream, you have 2 approaches into Burbank for runway 8, the Yankee and the Zulu ILS. The Yankee has a different missed approach procedure that has a lower climb gradient. So if you can't meet the climb gradient of the Zulu approach, then you'd have to do the Yankee. Now that's something you'd have to look into with aero data on your ACARs and performance stuff like that. If you don't have it, then you got to manually do it, and it's not very fun. Expect to be vectored inside of Silex and just outside of Buddy, approximately 3 miles. Be prepared to configure and slow as necessary for a stable approach. If traffic permitting, consider using early stabilized approach procedure. So, we always talk about on this channel, 2,000 feet above touchdown, blah, 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 gear, flaps 2, manage speed. Okay, that's going out the window on this approach, guys. So if you look at Janney, so that basically takes you to Wabbit, and let me pull up the approach itself here. ILS Zulu 8, because we can comply with it. Tyler Smith only shut it down when it became excessive. Even if it goes into amber, the amber range, I think it's at like, gosh, I don't remember for this engine. But when it goes to amber, you do a high vibe procedure, which basically you bring the thrust to idle. And if it goes down, then you don't shut it down. You only shut it down if you have other issues. All right, so Buddy and Silex, this is where you expect to get vectored here at 3,000 feet coming in here. So the early stabilized approach criteria, I'm probably going to be flaps 3, 160 knots, about 2,000 feet or so above touchdown zone. Instead of 180 flaps 2, I'm already going to be a config 3 at 160. That way, all we have to do is drop the gear down and manage up the speed. All right, let me go to the outside view here for a minute. Let me turn this way down to like 5. There we go. Oh my goodness. That is a beautiful shot right there. Live dangerously, 4 stacks visual. Oh, Roscoe, you're killing me. Let's see here. Went inbound on the arrival, blah, blah, blah. This airspace is highly dense with traffic, prepared for TCAS RAs. Use of the terrain push button on ND is mandatory. If we have to do runway 15, the RNAV visuals are the only ones available. I don't think we have to do that. Let's see. Active Sky is saying 140 at 8. We'll still land 8, but that'll be a nice crosswind. Runway 26 is aligned too closely to terrain in order to do a safe visual approach. Ensure engine failure missed approach procedures are briefed and loaded into the FMS. So that's something that basically is a company chart that you would have. This is where we start getting into the meat and potatoes on touchdown here. There are several important items. I'm reading this straight out of my airport briefing for you guys that I'm going to be reading tomorrow. There are several important items to review on the Burbank 10-9. The most immediate concern is the runway length. The longest runway is only 6,800 feet long, and it is not the preferred landing runway. But that's why we're going to be landing. That's right. So the shortest runway, 5,800 feet, is the preferred landing runway. But a careful review of the 10-9A page indicates that the usable length, if landing at or beyond the glide slope, is only 4,500 feet. So if you follow the glide slope all the way down and you aim for that middle marker, the 1,000 footers, on a 3-degree path, you only have 4,500 feet to stop, which is getting down there. So then we have to look at our FOM for landing on runways less than 6,000 feet, which we're not going to do today, but I will do tomorrow. You have special configuration here. It is a flaps config full, max reverse, auto brake medium, if available, only landing. So if you don't have auto brakes, manual braking is permissible, but you got to have at least medium if you do have working auto brakes. So we'll be sure to arm that. We can only do a 5-knot tailwind. So traditionally, you can do a 10-knot tailwind on the bus. Not at this airport. It's limited to 5 knots. You could thank Southwest for that one. It's imperative to conduct a thorough and accurate landing distance assessment, which we will. It talks about the EMAS, tower obstructions, and then, of course, what's really not a worry to us in flight sim, but the real dangerous part about Burbank is after you turn off the runway, you have to make sure you clear the runway. Your tail is clear of that runway because the gates are right there. That Alpha terminal, the A terminal, is right there off the side of the runway. So you got to be very careful and you got to be very diligent of where you're putting the airplane. A couple other notes here for landing, blah, blah, blah. So, okay, so I've went through the airport briefing. We basically know what to expect. Basically, you have to plan it. Yes, Christian. And also, it actually says if you are not down by Charlie 8, it is a mandatory go-around. So we are going to chop and drop this sucker right there, just past the threshold. We'll probably aim for the numbers. We'll probably come in maybe 3 reds, a little bit low as we get ready to cross the threshold. Because if you land on path, on the slope, you're going to be putting yourself right there at Charlie 8, which is pretty darn close to running out of space. So that is set. Let's go ahead and continue to set up for the approach here. We'll get our LS push buttons on. Enter destination data. I know. So we're going to go Burbank, 08. Perf data, next. We don't need you. We're going to descend. You know what? Let's do this before I change that. I know we're just supposed to do 5. We're going to bump it up here. We're going to speed up a little bit. Make it a little bit more challenging. We'll do a 7.2 or 300 descent speed. And let's get our active sky weather. Expected Burbank 140 at 8 are the winds. Temperature down there is 30. Wow. And QNH of 3001. MDA for us on the 10-9 is going to be 1075. That is set. ILS Zulu check. Perf data has been set. Is this more challenging than Midway? Oh, God, I haven't landed Midway in a long time. The last time I landed Midway, I was flying an Embraer 190 in there on a contract. So I'd have to pull up the charts, Andre. I can't tell you. I can't remember. Now I have an excuse to slam it down. Absolutely. Do a quick flyby here. All right, back to our regularly scheduled juicy Carda engines. Yeah, no butter today. We are not going for the butter. It's actually turning into a nice time of day to be flying here. Airport data. I'm going to pull these charts out. Okay, cool. And it just crashed my freaking Jefferson. Beautiful. All right, here we go. Arrivals. Consider landing on the, or use the FOM for 6,000 feet. We talked about that. Be fully configured at the VAP speed by the final approach fix. So that takes out that other thing I was talking about, the stable approach. We basically need to be fully configured, gear down at VAP by the final approach fix. Touchdown runway within 1,500 feet of threshold or displaced threshold is required. If not on the ground within 1,500 feet, a mandatory go-around is a must. So I guess it doesn't, it's not actually Delta 8 there, whatever that taxiway is, but it's 1,500 feet. So that's essentially the length of the touchdown zone. If you are not down in the touchdown zone, it is a mandatory go-around. But we're going to try to put it down a little bit shorter than that. The LOC is unusable within 0.9 of the threshold. We know that. Radio bleed over from Van Nuys Tower. We can expect that. Arrivals tend to be held high. Adjust accordingly. And don't taxi beyond the ramp again. We don't care about that much in flight sim. But again, once we land, it is not it's not all sunshine and rainbows here for the crew. It actually gets really hairy because especially if you're pulling off here at Delta 2 or Delta 1, you're going to the A gates, you are right here on the runway. So it's a very tight place to maneuver. And with the way they bring airplanes in and out there all the time, you got to be on your A game. So we are getting ready to approach our top of descent. I'm going to intentionally keep us high so we can simulate a Phantom 320's air traffic control skills, keeping us too high on profile. We'll get some more juicy Delta 319. Ooh, man, X-Plane is looking juicy tonight, or what? These engines change the 319. They just change it. They change the whole airplane. It's like having a Ferrari without stock rims, and then you put some nice wheels on there. Freaking awesome. Alexander says, have fun at my Arloff. Thank you, sir. Kawadi Monday salute to you. Bank angle check. Hopefully I won't be doing that. Towers online, 18.7. Beautiful. F1 Racer says we had a PFD failure today on a domestic flight. Ooh, first proper failure we had in 6 years. Wow, PFD failure. I haven't had one of those in like a really long time either. That's crazy, man. Take a detour to LA. They're having nasty fog right now. Are they really? How does a level D sim compare to X-Plane or Microsoft? The airports are just as good as... I wouldn't say they're as good as Fly Tampa. They're pretty darn good. The airports are pretty good, and of course they're exactly realistic, you know, as far as distance and everything. But as far as the sim itself, like this view is ugly. It's just brown flat. Think of FS98 default scenery. Or maybe not. You know, the newer ones, think FSX default scenery. Maybe not even. Maybe FS9. FS9 default scenery is what you're looking at. But the airports are of the same quality as like the default textures, but they are laid out exactly like the real thing. So it's a trade-off. It's not super juicy like Fly Tampa. Well, some are pretty good, but not as good as Fly Tampa. A mixed hybrid, Fly Tampa and default. Any tips for a commercial check ride? Christian. Good luck on your check ride, sir. I wish you the best. I'm sure you're going to crush it. My only tip that I always give out for anybody going on a check ride, it doesn't matter if you're private, commercial, or whatnot, is make sure that whatever is happening to the airplane, it is doing what you want it to do. Do not accept anything less than what you exactly want the airplane to do. You're flying the airplane, not the examiner, not the wind, not the weather. You are in control of that airplane. So if it is not doing exactly what you want it to do, fix it. You're doing a steep turn maneuver and you're drifting 20 feet off, don't accept that. Strive for perfection and manipulate the aircraft to make it do exactly what you want it to do. If you do that, you tune out the examiner, tune out the weather, and focus on putting the airplane exactly where you want it to be, you're going to pass with flying colors, man. It's human nature. We get nervous, we get anxious, we get a little scared. That's all part of the game on a check ride. But remember, at the end of the day, your instructor has faith in you. You already know the material. You've already been signed off for the check ride. So you have the skills and you have the knowledge. Now it's your time to go put it on the line. So that's that's what I told all my students. It didn't matter if it's their private pilot solo or the ATP check ride. I mean, it is, if you do that, and it sounds so simple and benign, but we really can get caught up in our own ways when we have an examiner there, or maybe the weather is a little bit worse than we expected, but we're still flying and we got this nasty crosswind. Don't accept being side-loaded. Don't accept tracking left to center line. You're in control of the airplane. You put it right where you want it to be, and you're not going to have any issues at all. What's the best way to prepare for CFI? Lots of coffee, man. Lots of coffee. You're going to need a lot of coffee. And you're going to need to do a lot of reading. And remember to take breaks. So there's so much material when you're learning to become a CFI that, you already know the basic stuff, but you're going to learn more than you ever thought you knew about the basic stuff that you already know, if that makes sense. So be ready to read, and remember to give yourself a break. You got to break it up. You can't just sit down and expect to read 2 hours of material and comprehend it. Go 20 minutes, take a 5-minute break, walk around, stand up. Go another 20 minutes, you're going to comprehend a lot more material that way, because the CFI is a lot of fire hose drinking. It's kind of like this stream. Okay, we're high. Phantom 320 didn't give us our descent. He says descend via. We're going to set 6,000 here. We'll push it over. Down we go. What do we got here? We're 3,200 feet high. Oh boy. It's time for an approach briefing. You guys ready? All right, so you have the controls. We're on a descent down to 8,000 is set, or I'm sorry, 8,000 magenta, 6,000 is set for Wabbit. You have controls. All right, we're set up to come down the JNE5 RNAV arrival. All the speed and altitudes are in the box. We've already checked that. We've already gone over our 10.9 briefing page, but we expect to be vectored after Wabbit intersection for the visual backed up with the ILS runway 8 Zulu approach, which I have here, which is chart 11-1, effective 5 April of 19. Localizer course is 109.5. We'll auto-tune that. Final approach course will be 079 degrees. Buddy on the slope is 2753 for our configuration. We're going to be at VAP, config full, gear down before the final approach fix. If I'm not, just sure call go around, and we'll do a high altitude go around procedure. There is terrain in the area. Mandatory terrain ND is on both sides. There's no weather to worry about, so we got our NDs on terrain mode. I got a ping from tower or center. I got a contact. Let me finish my brief. Touchdown zone is 727 feet. Will be stable by 1100. Multiple sector altitudes. The highest sector altitude to the northwest quadrant, 7,300 feet. Like I said, terrain mode is set. We're going to be fully configured by Buddy. We got Pappets on the left, Mauser lighting. If we have to go miss, we're going to be on the published miss. We're not going to do a visual miss approach procedure. We're going to do the published. We meet the climb gradient straight out 1,300. Climbing right turn 4,600 feet on a heading of 210. Intercept the VTU 086 radial outbound. Eventually we're going to hold left turns 197, match the plates in the box. Actually Ventura missed approach, should be 131 inbound, so I don't know what's up with that approach course there, but close enough. We're not expecting to hold. Oh, there it is, 266. Nope, that's not right either. All right, well, the hold is a little jacked up here, but we'll worry about that when we get there. Other than that, we already briefed the runway, basically runway 8, 1,500 feet, or we're going around, mandatory, no ifs, ands, or buts about it. We're not looking for a butter here. It's going to be get her down, put her down, reverse thrust full. Medium auto brakes is selected. When we exit the runway, make sure the tail clears the active runway. We'll make sure we're short of any hold short lines or any traffic there. It's going to get pretty hectic. I'm going to fly the aircraft, so you don't have to worry about transfer of flight controls. Other than that, we're 319 for tail strike avoidance. We're going to be config full, medium brakes, full reverse. That's all I got. Any questions? No questions. I have control. All right, let's contact LA Center 3555. LA Center, good evening. Delta 357. We're 17-1 descending via the JNE-5.
Spirit wing 725. Second.
We're climbing past 201 for 300.
3001 is the leader. 3001 is set.
Okay, Spirit wings 725, squawk 7117.
And tower's also online, 18.7. We'll put that in the standby. How's our perf?
Right, Delta, it's 738, calling.
It's Delta 357, we're 15.3, descending via the JNE-5.
Delta 357, thank you, squawk 7330.
Squawking 7330 for Delta 357.
Spirit wings 572, descend lane 10.
Alright, so we got a Spirit Wings on frequency. We're still 1,500 feet. Spoid break.
On Spirit wings 572, flight heading 240 vectors for flight.
Shaquille O'Neal gets smoke coming off your paper.
Heading 240 for the vectors, Spirit Wings 572.
Burbank only operates landing 8. 8 is the preferred landing runway. So even if there's a crosswind, they do prefer to land 8 until they can't do it anymore, essentially. Just for traffic and all the congestion down there. 8 is the preferred. Okay, let's go ahead and breathe that speed brake up. Lift dumpers. Look at that airport down there. Beautiful.
Spirit wing 725, radar contact, climb range 2, flight level 300.
I'm maintaining 300, Spirit wing 75.
Delta 357, radar contact. Over Palmdale BUR, descend and maintain 9,000, expect ILS Zulu, runway 8 approach.
Alright, descend and maintain 9,000, we'll expect the ILS Zulu, runway 8 for Delta 357. Alright, we got 9,000 set, we're going to go thrust idle open descent. And we are good to go.
JetBlue 189, go ahead.
So as briefed, and we got to come back below 250. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to manually select 250 as well.
JetBlue 189, go
Cool.
ahead.
And we're going to activate and confirm the approach phase through 10,000 feet. And we'll come up here. We'll get our wing lights on and our Chinese speed brakes on as well. Hear that little bit of drag coming on there? That's awesome. That's the lights. Oh, we're a little bit fast. Speeding. Look at this juice. Man, X-Plane is just looking so good right now. Damn, I think it's the new lighting too that Toliss has, like the ice lights and the landing lights and all that stuff. They look way better than they used to. Combine it with the CFM A's. Carda. I am not a CFM fan, but these engines are worth flying around, that is for sure. Noah B, thanks for becoming a member, man. Appreciate it. Exclamation point welcome for more information on your new perks here at the channel. Glad to have you aboard, sir. Glad you're enjoying the content. I know this is a fire hose stream for a lot of you guys. I'm trying to drink from a fire hose.
IFR to Burbank would like to get clearance.
If you like it, hit the like button for me, because then that lets me know if you guys want to see more of these or not.
Turn left heading 182.
Definitely a higher pace, different change of pace than the traditional streams where we just kind of
Left turn 180.
chill out, enjoy the scenery, do a challenging approach here and there.
71 LA Center.
This is more of a, I'm here to refresh my memory, and I'm doing it live on stream with you guys. What is green dot speed? That's your, In a nutshell, Jeremy, green dot in the Airbus is your best lift to drag ratio, so it's your most
clear to
efficient
Burbank,
speed. Now that will
miles,
change with
maintain
altitude.
16,000.
There's some other factors in
Departure
depth
with you
that we
and
could
squawk
get
with
into, but generally speaking,
7320.
that's your best lift over drag speed.
Pacific 7571, read back east, correct, advise way for taxi.
Hop on, you love the channel, I appreciate it. Thanks, sir.
3531.
Los Angeles Center, Sierra November 377 Echo Delta, Van Nuys, Alpha 4, short or Alpha, with the local weather request VFR departure to the west.
Sierra number 377 Echo Delta, LA Center. Would you like flight following today?
Oh yeah, we could do flight following. We just follow the flight plan VFR.
I'm at 9,000. He gave me 9,000.
Yeah, that's fine.
I hope we're leveled. Yeah, we're leveled at 9,000.
9,000.
Yeah, we're coming over the terrain right now.
05, advise way for taxi.
Oh my gosh, look at this.
Okay, departure to you 7205, and we're ready to taxi.
Do you have a good texture mod? This is the best texture mod you'll ever get, the CFM engine mod. Not currently released yet. Carda Jowols is he's the creator of the realistic engine mods. He has engines for Flight Factor, Toliss, basically Flight Factor, but the 75, 76, 319, 20, and 21. So he has them all. These are not currently released. These are the CFM 56As, which I personally, if I have to fly a CFM, I like the A's. I like the pointy spinner. I like this extra little flap thing here. All right, we just started a turn there. You want about 240 on the heading and down to 6,000 for Delta 357.
Yes, please. 240 sounds great.
Perfect. 240 on the heading down to 6,000, Delta 357. So he gave me a present heading there right in the turn. That's okay. I'm not sure if he's going to make me rejoin. I don't think so.
For the flight 2151 out.
Actually, I don't think he will. So we're going to clean up the box here. Let's go. Let's just clear P-pause. Let's do it from the top. We'll clear Puck. We'll clear Elmer. And we'll clear Wabbit. There we go. We're going to clear from the top. So now we got Silex armed on a heading at 240. We're down to 6,000 feet. Let's not dilly-dally. Spoy breaks out. Here we go.
Spirit Wings 572, turn left to heading.
This is Orbix HD California as well, if you're wondering.
Left turn 110 to intercept the runway 8.
Captain Thompson's got a fire hose coming through my ears with your stream while also studying for aviation weather final exam. Ooh, aviation weather. What's your standard adiabatic lapse rate, Captain Tom? Dude, we never did our mock oral. I really wanted to do that. I think that'd be a lot of fun. I'm a current CFI. I renew my stuff every 2 years. I just renewed it this year, actually. You guys don't want to have any mentors. You guys don't let me give you mock orals or anything like that. I think it'd be fun. We'll hop in the Discord, we'll go through our private pilot material.
Wings 572, 6 miles from
Ranger Rick, it comes with years of practice, sir. Years of practice. What are the econ descent brackets? Jeremy, great question. So you'll have it's exactly what it sounds like. It's a window of
Delta 357, turn left heading 180.
left turn 180, Delta 357. It's a window of margin for the Airbus to meet a vertical constraint. So if you have let's say we're 250, but we're at 260 and 240 are your brackets. If you're high on profile, the airplane will automatically pitch for the top of that bracket of 260 knots. So it will give you a greater descent rate. If you're low on profile, it will pitch for the minimum speed, which will decrease your rate of descent, which will help you get back caught up with your vertical profile. So it's a window that allows the aircraft to either descend a little bit faster or descend a little bit slower. It's without adjusting thrust. That's where you get the economy factor, is you start pitching for a vertical profile as opposed to adding thrust and burning more gas. That's where you get the econ part. But yes, that's a great question. That's your econ descent window.
300. We're at 16.9 now.
November 1 and Tango Bravo, LA Center.
Yeah, wow, you couldn't even get it right. 2C. I was, 2C and then wet is 3, right?
Southwest 3388 with a contact 30 miles northeast.
All right, I have a feeling he's going to slam dunk me. I'm going to start walking the speed back here.
One arrival, runway
210 on the speed.
left transition.
Swarm, absolutely, man. Ooh, instrument's my favorite. That's probably my favorite one. Ooh, instrument or commercial? Probably instrument, though. Because I like instrument stuff.
Speed wings 572, contact Burbank Tower 118.7.
Over to tower, Speed wings 572.
All right, so I'm coming back to 210 here.
357, turn left heading 160, descend maintain 5,000.
160 descend maintain 5,000, Delta 357. All right, here we go. Spoid brakes coming full, 5,000 blue, thrust throttle open, descent. I am not going to extend flaps 1 here because flaps 1 is essentially going to give you better lift, which will actually hurt your descent rate here. So unless you're going to flaps 2 right away, I'm going to keep it clean with spoid brakes out down to 5,000. And then as soon as we start going into star mode, I'm going to dial this back to 180 and go all the way to flaps 2. There we go. There's star,
10 miles northwest.
speed out star, 180. Now I'm going to go flaps 1. Spoid brake is still out.
We can actually stick down at
So now we are leveling. And I'm going to retract the speed brake.
Well, actually, climb maintain at level 2604, direction 5260.
Now tomorrow, unfortunately, I'm being a 320. It's a little bit more slick, but 319 is really not too much of an issue. There's VFE next minus 10, flaps 2. We're already at flaps 2, 180, and we're just on profile now, so we're looking good. No, you cannot customize that, Jeremy. Another great question, but no, it's computed from the FMGCs, and I don't know exactly what goes into that computation, but you cannot modify it, unfortunately.
Number 37 Echo Delta.
Now, you can modify it, but you can select speed and change your speed to do essentially the same thing that the econ window is doing. Say you want a little bit more than 10 knots, you could select speed and scroll it up, and then it'll pitch for that as long as you're in an open descent mode.
Turn left heading 110, descend maintain 4,000, intercept localizer.
Left turn 110, descend maintain 4,000 feet. We'll accept the runway localizer of Delta 357. All right, intercept the lope. I'm just going to go half on the taxi light there. Lope blue, thrust idle, open, descent. 1,000 feet to go. A little bit of spoid brake action here, no dilly-dally. I'm using the speed brake to get down because once I get down there, I want to go... Actually, we need to be... It's Buddy, right? Okay, good. It's not Silex, so we're good. I want to be 160 here pretty soon, so I'm going to start creeping this back. There's speed alt star. I'm going to dial you back to 160. Spoid brake retract. Sounds adjust. And now we'll wait for the loc. Beautiful evening coming in over Burbank right now. 200 likes by final, Shaquille O'Neal says.
357 is 1 mile from Silex, maintain 4,000 to established on the localizer, cleared ILS Zulu, runway 8 approach.
Alright, 4tel established, cleared ILS Zulu, runway 8 approach for Delta 357. Alright, glide slope blue, loc blue, Cat 3 dual autopilot 1+2. Localizer is not quite alive. We should get it here. Glide slope's alive.
77 Echo Delta, ready contact the altitude.
This is how you can get pinched. If she doesn't capture and we go below there. Loc star. Remember, we got to be fully configured by Buddy. So we're going to go ahead and extend flaps 3 now. This is our Burbank approach procedure. So we are flaps 3. Our VAP speed into Burbank tonight is 134. There's our slope. There's the runway. We have replay mode, so I'm not going to get caught up here being too juicy because I definitely want to get some of these replays. What a beautiful time to come in here. Glide slope star, loc star.
Number 7 Echo Delta, resume all navigation, maintain VFR.
Let's go ahead and manage it up. Gear down. Spoid brake on.
Delta 357, contact Burbank Tower, 118.7.
Over tower 18.7, have a good one, Delta 357. If your next minus 10, flaps full. And we are config full before Buddy. Looking good. Burbank Tower, good evening, Delta 357. We're just outside Buddy for the ILS 8.
357 Burbank Tower, wind 150 at 7, runway 8, clear to land.
Runway 8, clear to land, Delta 357. All right, so we're clear to land. We got all our lights on. Clear to land, down to land. Landing checklist here. We're going to wait until it all turns green, or you can read it off the checklist depending on what your SOPs are. But no more chats.
2,500.
Last sip of water. And here we go.
Burbank 572, welcome to Burbank. Continue forward and then make a right.
I'm actually going to hand fly this for my own practice, so we're going to go up, autopilot off. Cat 1.
Off to the left of the Delta.
Right hand turn over to Gag Alpha 7, short range 572.
I wish I had my super juicy Airbus stick. Don't have it yet.
2,000.
Oh, I forgot to do this thing. Yeah. Landing checklist. Cabin crew advise auto thrust. Speed. VCAM memo. And landing all green. Landing check is complete. So if we have to go around, it's pretty much a all right turn, 4,600 feet. 1360 on a right turn. And if we are, I'm not messing around, I'm not going to make it look pretty. If I'm long, we're going around, just like I'm going to be doing tomorrow. Wind shifted around a little bit there. Now it's out of the east instead of the north a second ago. You can definitely get some burble effect here coming in real life when the winds are strong, coming over the hills. It can be a ride 'em cowboy type of approach, that's for sure. Butter this bread, hey. I'm not even really thinking about butter. I'll try. I don't want to crash. But like I said, if you missed it earlier, if you follow this glide slope all the way down and you touch down at a 3-degree path, number one, you're already almost past your 1,500 foot mark, and you only have 4,500 feet to stop. So per the SOPs, we got to be down before 1,500. That would be something I'd brief as well. Be like, hey, you'll probably see me dip below here, go 3 red as we get in close, once the landing is assured. Like, all right. Oh, look at that, wind just went away. Interesting. Now it's back. Yeah, heck, this guy's doing a pretty good job there.
Above.
Landing.
400. Minimum.
I'm going to start dipping below a little bit.
300.
Take it about a half dot low.
200.
So pretty much where the pappies are is our go-around mark.
100.
Flight director's
50,
off.
40, 30, 20, retard, 10, 5.
Spoilers! Oh my gosh, reverse green. So glad the airplane doesn't handle like that on the ground in real life. 70 knots. Manual brakes. Whoo! 1312, guys. 1312. That was almost a go around. That was that's on me. I should have turned the flight directors off. So in real life here, we're basically just going to make a right turn.
357 tack to the gate via right turn.
Right turn to the gate, Delta 357. So it's important to clear. We're going to take this stand right here. Hopefully we'd be marshaled in. Not uncommon to do this.
Attention all aircraft at Burbank. Tower will be stepping away for 2 minutes.
Let's do an after landing checklist. We'll clean it up here. We'll get the APU fired up as well. That was definitely an uncomfortable touchdown, but hey, what can you expect? So what happened, I'm going to do a good debrief here. We'll kill that, kill the strobes. APU is starting up. And we'll simulate that we had a 3-minute cooldown period. So at that point, we'll go ahead and secure engine 2. Cosmic, you want me to get you booked with your chiropractor, usual appointment time? You got it, man. And wait for the APU to spool up here. What happens when you hit the stand with no APU? It's really not a big deal, Andre, because you have to wait 3 minutes to cool down. So it's very common if you're at full reverse like that you're going to be sitting here with the engines running anyway. Probably hook up ground power before your cooldown period, so you don't even have to start the APU. But you got to do a 3-minute cooldown. That's very tight here at the gate. So there it is. She's a Veil. Kill engine 1. Is there anybody else coming in? No. Whew. A couple Delta birds there, a Jet Who. So, that looked really short, didn't it? I think this might be... Okay, I don't know. What taxiway is this? No, this is about 1,500 feet. Damn, that's short. We touched down at 1,300, so we were there, but it was like the limit. Let's go ahead and disconnect from VATSIM. Let's do a replay. Let's analyze this here. I'm going to tell you exactly, not necessarily an excuse. I'm actually not upset about the touchdown rate or anything like that, but there was a big distraction there on final. That's just Pampers being Pampers. We'll watch it from about here. Reset the audio. So I should have turned the flight directors off and pulled up the bird once I was visual. I really should have done that, because if you notice what happened there, once we went inside, it went unusable and it couldn't track anymore. So the airplane reverted in the command bars. It reverted to heading vertical speed. So that was a little bit distracting, and I took my eye off of what I was looking at, and we almost landed long. This one says 1298, so we still had 200 feet. But that's something that I am going to remember for tomorrow's sim session, is I'm going to make sure we turn off all the automation prior to coming in when the localizer gets unusable, because you don't want to be landing in heading vertical speed ever. You either want to be everything off or in flare mode. You never want to be heading vertical speed. You never want to see alt hold in the FMA. None of that. It's got to be either blank or landing. And that was a mistake on my part, which I will definitely remember. And I'm actually happy that Toliss modeled it. That was pretty cool. It's not a bug that it lost the lope inside of 3, or inside of like a mile there. That's on the approach chart. We even briefed it. We even said inside of 0.9, it's unusable. So that's why it lost it. Show us the replay so we can, if we give you a number. All right, here we go. Here's we'll pause it on touchdown. This touchdown rate on the left always seems high. The one that posts up here, I don't even know what it was. Seems to be a little bit more forgiving, but all right, I'm gonna watch it. That's pretty darn textbook for Burbank. So we're, oh my God, look how close we are at the taxiway. So this says 1,293 feet. So 1,500 feet. If this is 150 feet long, we literally have till about where the Pappies are for a go around. So we are one airplane length before going around. So we're not at the end, but we are at the limit. Just a little bit off center on touchdown there. Not terrible. And then of course, after landing, we get my super juicy Pampers box. Kind of makes it harder to control. But I saw a video of a CFM Airbus do a landing. It's on YouTube. I actually posted it in the Discord from one of, I can't remember where the angle was. It on the gear? It was like right here. Was it under the wing? No, maybe it was more over here. It was like right here. So I want to simulate that here. We're going to watch the replay from this view. You'll see your flower petals come up. How would the real life plane handle? That, honestly, I'm just telling you from real world experience. I don't know. What was it, 300 something? That is probably going to feel like your standard firm landing. It's not going to be excessively hard. It's not going to be soft. You're going to be like, oh, yeah, we touched down. But I don't think that was anywhere in the realm of, oh my gosh, that was super hard. You know, we look at our rates and all that stuff, but by no means was it a butter, but it was pretty much standard textbook. Just arrest the descent a little bit and put her down. I mean, if I flared any more, we'd be long. So. And you don't really want to be going 4 reds here. I know we're below the cockpit view, so that's probably why it's showing 4 there. But I was riding that 3 red pretty consistently, which put us down just before the Pappies, which is accurate. So. Oh, look at those flower petals open up. So sick. Let's watch another one. I did too, Christian. Would you cross the threshold at lower altitude? Just a little bit. And that's what I said. I said we're going to dip below just a little bit. Is there a little wing flex on that? Let's watch the wing flex. Whew, that was a little excessive. Alright, now let me show you guys what happened here. And then I'm going to get the music on and we'll start getting out of here. So, right here, I should have turned off the flight directors and used the bird. So I said, hey, we're going to come in a little bit low. I got 3 reds, which is just like I said you want to do. 4 reds is a little bit sketch because you don't know where you are. That's the problem. That's the difference between 3 reds and 4 reds. 3 reds, you still know where you are. You know you're slightly low. When you have 4 reds up there or 4 whites, you don't know where you are in that extreme. You could be extremely low or you could just be just outside of that 4th red. You have no idea where you are in that relation. So that's why it's never good to maximize these, either 4 white or 4 red. 3 is okay, and I would say pretty standard here. You can see we did go 4 a little bit. Inside of 100 feet, when did we go 4?
100.
Yeah, so inside of 100 feet, yeah, 100 feet were 4 reds. Okay, now I know we're not extremely low because I could see the runway. We're gonna be clear, but again, if you go 4, it's going to be a debrief item. So this approach right now, as is, would be a debrief item for me because we went 4. 3 is okay. 4 is like, come on, man, you know better. And then right here, this is what, not to make excuses, but kind of startled me. I was like, what happened? Look what our FMA says. Vertical speed, loc. We lost the localizer and glide slope, which is normal, but you don't want to be landing in this configuration. This is not a proper Airbus configuration for landing. This either needs to be blank or it either needs to be land, flare, like you're doing an auto land, or if it was synced up all the way. This is not a bug on why it disconnected. It is on the briefing. I think, is it even on this chart here? It was on my chart that I read to you guys. I said inside of 0.9, right here, localizer unusable within 0.9 nautical miles. So inside of 0.9, we lost a loc, it chirped off. This kind of threw me for a brief loop, but we still got down. We were still safe.
40, 30.
We're doing 700 feet a minute on the descent rate. Arrest that descent rate. So, I mean, this is showing we're about 200 vertical speed and decreasing. That's pretty that's pretty standard. I am actually happy with the touchdown. I'm a little bit unhappy with my approach. Coming in 4 red there, and then not turning off the flight directors and getting that vertical speed chirp. So that's my debrief to myself. I know what I'm going to do differently tomorrow. That's why I did this stream. That's why these simulators are, I mean, they're a lot of fun to fly around and have fun and look at juicy scenery and juice a Carda engines all the time. Don't get me wrong, I love it. But they are also great tools. So I got a little mental note for myself. I'm obviously going to be going over all the material again tonight, maybe tomorrow before a little bit of coffee, and then I'll be in the sim all afternoon. So I probably am going to be streaming again, maybe Friday. We'll be back on the Asia Pacific tour. I hope to see you guys there. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. Thank you for tuning in to the channel. I hope you appreciate the fire hose stream. Maybe we need a fire hose emoji. But I hope you guys enjoyed it. I enjoyed doing it. Hope you guys have a wonderful rest of the night, and keep those beacon juice screenshots coming. In the Discord, posting those screenshots, beacon on, absolutely juicy. I love it. So until then, guys, wish me luck tomorrow. I'm V1. Stay safe, stay healthy. See ya.